Good morning, everyone. Let's look at your markets for today. We'll start with the economic calendar as always. Not a very eventful day today, with the exception of the European Central Bank's President Christine Lagarde speaking at about 3:45, as GMT plus 2, obviously. With the exception of that, I don't think we will see a lot of movement, and there's some other people speaking as well, but it's all three of them are all on the euro, and then we've got the $100 that's also speaking, but that's tonight. By that time, I'm already done for the day. That's at the end of the US session. So yeah, I mean, not a lot happening in the economic calendar. So we'll base our trades today on technicals. We'll look at sentiment next. So on the technical summary, we've got the S&P up 1.6%, the DAX down 1%, FTSE neutral, and the Euro stocks basically neutral, down 0.7%. That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, that's good for the S&P. If you go euro dollar, you should see it go short then. So in favor of the dollar, short on the euro. Let's look at gold. Gold's neutral, silver is neutral. Then forex, pretty neutral, 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 neutral. Yeah, it looks like everything is pretty neutral. But it's a Monday morning, so it's to be expected. On a Monday morning, everything is pretty much dead even where it ended. So it's not a shock at all. We've got some nice market news articles down here that you can read if you want to check out my blog. Go to forex2tradetoday.blogspot.com, then just scroll down for some news articles there that will give you an idea of what to expect, especially on a Monday or a Sunday afternoon. Well, afternoon for me. These people all stand together and make one big article. Now, this is really interesting. Usually, if you just go into it, you can see what they expect to see happening for the week ahead, and they have these little reports and everything. But yeah, I mean, it looks like everything just tapered off and then settled down for a bit. So Euro's got some selling pressure. They expect the pound might regain some of its losses. Euro USD bearish but bounced due. Yeah, I mean, first week of the month. It's not a first week of the month yet, but first Friday of every month, which will be on Friday, we've got non-farm payrolls, and obviously that will give us a good new direction or confirm the current trend if there is one at that time. So yeah, I mean, it looks like we've got a pretty good idea of what's going to happen. Pretty good idea of what's going to happen. So yeah, that's basically the sentiment so far. It's got it neutral on the forex because of the fact that it's a Monday morning, and we've got the S&P up and the DAX down. So bearish euro, slightly bullish dollar. That's what we're looking at the moment, I think. But it is a Monday morning. Anything can happen. So let's turn to the charts and have a look. Okay, so on Friday we had this call where we said it should reach that line. It did another bounce on the resistance level. So now it's a double bottom. I still expect to see that move, but it needs to break this line first. So we should still see that move today. Same thing on the, no, sorry, on dollar CAD, we had the move correct, predicted this move and it touched it, so, and now it's bouncing off. So this was a good call. This was a good call. So it just bounced off this one, but that would be on the Aussie, and on the other one it did what I expected it to do. So that's a good one. It's a good one. So obviously, if you were trading this, I did not have an issue with it triggering my stop loss. I felt it was a pretty safe trade. I had a very tight stop loss, so you know, a small hit that I took, I think somewhere there it triggered, or somewhere there maybe it triggered the stop loss. It was a very tight stop loss, so I have no qualms with that. When I have wins, they're big wins, and when I have losses, they're really small. So I'm more than happy with this, with Friday's result. So we'll move on. Okay, let's try and see. We'll push this back to where it's. Oh no, what's happening now? Sorry about that. Let's push this back to where it's supposed to be. CA there. This one should be there. Yeah. Okay, so we'll start with what we predict to see. I already spoke about this. I still expect to see the push to the 38.2. It reversed right on the 23.6, which means it's still in the channel, or it was still in the channel at that time. But lowest point there, this candle there, lowest point was this one. So you'll see it's already outside this tight channel. Let's just check the deviation quickly. Yeah, it's a deviation of 1. It's a very tight channel. It's already outside it, so that should give you an indication. If it's ranging sideways, it means the trend has more than lost momentum. We also had that indicator saying, you know, it's over. So the push down is pretty much over in my mind. We should see it at the 38.2 line later today. And yeah, that's what I expect to see there. On the Aussie CHF, this is range bound. So we've got this line. Sorry, that's a little low. It needs to be on there. You could potentially move it to this one to be safe. So if you want to be a safe trader, you'd put the range there. It might never trigger, but you know, for a ranging market, that's where it's supposed to be. I think it'll trigger there again because of this line and that line, that rejection wick. Nice little doji we had there. I mean, if that wasn't an indication of a short, then I don't know what is. Anyway, so we have it ranging at the moment. So what we'll wait for is the breakout, obviously, in that range. In that range, we'll wait for the breakout, and once it breaks out, we'll obviously go wherever we want it to go. Could potentially see it go up to that line then. Okay, so just keep an eye on it. That's the best. Keep an eye on it. So Aussie New Zealand dollar, right on the outskirts of the channel and that trend line. So if you draw in the trend line, you'll see it there. 1, 2, 3, 4 points right on it. It's right on it. So that one touches, that one touches, that one barely misses, and then that one touches. That's your trend. So it's right on the line. It can go outside and then come back inside. So while I expect all the others to go up there, you know, we do expect this to happen. The Kiwi is pretty strong at the moment. So, well, perception of the Kiwi is pretty strong at the moment. So obviously we'll wait for the break. We'll wait for the breakout, and then it should, if it breaks out of this, we could potentially see it push to this, what is that, a 38.2 line, where this white line is as well. We should see it push back to there. In a long-term trend, it should push back up there. So what happened there should reverse itself there. So, but it will be more like a slightly more sideways gradient. It won't be like steep up. It should be a sideways gradient. So that's why I expect to see if it doesn't respect the trend line. If it does respect the trend line, we'll obviously see it go down again. So yeah, I mean, this can be removed. Just unselect that one and then delete. There we go, that's better. Zoom out a bit. Yeah, I mean, we'll just keep an eye on this and see what it does. But I expect to see this break. But if it holds, it's a nice short. Obviously, to that level again. We'll take profit somewhere there. So yeah, keep an eye on it. But I expect to break the upside. Aussie yen, that's very sideways, very, very sideways. There's nothing to say on this. Nothing to say. We've got complete consolidation and range trading here. It's slightly higher, isn't it? It's supposed to be there. So if I was just trying to draw a trend line, I would put it there at the close, more like there. So, I mean, not a trend line, a support resistance line. If this was just a support and resistance line, I'd put it on the dojis, on the closes, and try and hit, this is the key, hit as many of these points as you can. That's what you would try to do when you're drawing a support and resistance or trend line. You know, the rules are the same. You hit as many as you can. So some of them will be closes, others would be just wick touches, some would be dojis, and that's what you would do if you were looking for just a support and resistance line. What I'm doing now is shifting it up to the far end of the wicks because this is a range now. Now in a range, you want to see it go outside the range. And in order to do that, it needs to go to a newer, shall we say, lower low than the range's lowest low, or a higher high than the range's highest high. That's when you know it's going to break out. It's got momentum to push through. So you put it at the wick ends in the range and wait for the breakout. That's why I put them there. If I was just trying to range trade this in this consolidated sideways channel, then I would still put it on the closes, you know, as a resistance line, and there on the closes as a support line, and bounce it between these two lines. But what I'm looking for at the moment is a break, not a bounce. And you know, it can keep consolidating like this, bounce between these two lines for days. You don't know what's going to happen. But for me, when it's this tight, when it's such a consolidated sideways movement, I want to see a big move come. And to determine that, we need a lower low or a higher high with momentum. So you'll need volume and basically an engulfing candle. You need to see a candle that's like this, you know, a big up push, but a volume candle like that, you know, with this much ATR, push through one of these lines, either to the upside or to the downside, whichever. That's what you want to see. Then you know you've got your break. You can just jump on the momentum train and ride it to its destination, which could be anywhere. I mean, this trend's been chilling slightly downwards for a while now. It could potentially reverse now to the upside. So yeah, I mean, I'll wait for the break and maybe go long-term trade that, maybe long. If it does break to the upside, I will long-term trade it with a positive swap. If it doesn't, then you know you can short it. But I do expect this downward move to have ended now. It's basically consolidating, and for me that means it needs to go up now. Now you can see that the original equidistance channel that we had here, it was overbought and now it's back in the channel. So it could just potentially keep respecting this channel to the downside and just stay in it because it's at fair value again, right in the middle of the channel on the downside. That's fair value for me. So if the current downtrend wants to continue, it needs to stay within this little channel. If it keeps consolidating to the side, like it seems to be doing, then it will eventually get outside the channel, and then the move to the upside would be inevitable. So for me, it either needs to respect the channel, break the downside, or disrespect the channel and break the upside, and in which case you'll have a pretty big move to the upside over a long term. Well, that's what I expect. So, and then Aussie dollar, I mean, there's so much buy pressure on the dollar that you can't really call it at this point. Highest point somewhere there, I think. Which one? This one. That one. So it's right at the top of this channel. I expect a breakout now. I expect the breakout. But I've been expecting the same thing on all the Aussie pairs. So it's not a new call. If I'm expecting the Aussie to go up and break everything, then, same will apply to the Aussie dollar. So if it does break to the upside, same thing, you could see a potential move to this line. So we'll draw that in. There, that would be your target. Take profit 1, and then take profit 2 would be at that line. Yeah. So, I mean, or maybe this line, this orange line. We'll see if it respects the channel and if it breaks to the upside. Remember, same thing, you want to see it break this line before you go long. So keep an eye on that. Euro Aussie. Now it's just a opposite of the previous one. We've got this W upside down W formation. Usually that means a continuation pattern. So if you draw in your channel, highest points, this one I believe. You see that? Respecting that. Now, if it's respecting the channel, it should go to the upside, but I don't think it can. Specifically, let's just show you. I think we'll see it here. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Let's see. What do we have? Oh no, it's a pretty downward move, isn't it? Look at this. That's downward, even though this is ranging sideways. It's down at the moment, so I would say expect a short here. I mean, we already read there's bearish pressure on the euro. I think the Aussie can recover and that the bearish pressure will hold. So potentially we should see it come down. Okay, let me just remove this. And this, we don't need this. That's better. Yeah, I definitely expect to see it come down again. But the channel's holding for now, so that could be a the W formation pushing back to the upside, which would be a potentially great move if you get it now. But I don't know, bearish pressure on the euro is for me a big no-no. I won't get in there. Let's look at the Euro Swissy top end. This is not even properly trending, is it? It's just extreme trending. So you could potentially increase the standard deviation by factors of Fibonacci. So you would go instead of 1.00 deviation, you'd go 1.23 and then 1.38, then 1.5 to fit it in the channel. Or you could just do this, which is the better option anyway. right on that doji. As many as you can hit. That's the rule. So it'll be there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this one needs to be down a bit, but we'll leave it there, it's fine. It does need to hit that one, but this one can be more like this potentially. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's a proper equidistance channel. Where it is now, obviously there's no definite indication. We've got upward momentum on a pullback. Let me just show you the retracement. You've got the retracement there. Just before the 50, it stopped. So that's just a retracement. That says it should be a continuation to the upside. So, I mean, why did I shift that now? You know, on that, I wouldn't necessarily go short now. I think it could potentially keep going up. So, there's no clear indication on this one. So, I'll just leave it alone for now. Euro pound. Was this an arrow? Did I draw in an arrow here? I don't see a line there, so I'm not sure. I think it was a trend line. Yeah, it was a trend line, I think. Did push up and then something pushed it down again. Bearish pressure on the euro, and then the pound's recovering. That's what we read in that article. So the real question is, has this move to the downside now seen its end? I think not, because the 50% line there is also a strong resistance, support turned resistance line. Or actually other way around, resistance turned support line. So yeah, so we should potentially see this 50% line be triggered again, and this white line needs to be slightly up. There we go, that's where it's supposed to be, slightly up. So that's where it should go. This move to the downside has not exhausted itself at all. So yeah, I'd just stay out of it for now. Euro yen, this is ranging still, hasn't stopped. Might break out soon. I hope it does. I'm so tired of the yen pairs doing absolutely nothing. But we'll have to keep an eye on that. I think I'll remove this because this looks to be starting a trend to the downside. What I want to see then is we'll add watcher. Now, if you don't know what watcher is, it's the custom indicator I've built that gives the little arrows. Those arrows. Yeah, so it's been ranging, but it still had sell pressure on it. So I think this is going to go down. That startled me. Okay, this should go down. Yeah, continued sell pressure. It could see the end of the move, but it's still on the sell pressure. So, I mean, 3 arrows in a row means down. So we've had like 7 or 8 or maybe 10 there. We had a big push down. Now we've got another one. So first candle indication that it's going down again. I think this is not the type of thing you want to range trade. You don't want to range trade that. You want to ride the momentum to the downside. We're looking to see a breakdown here. I think if there's another candle, maybe another 2 candles, next candle's in 6 minutes. So another 2 candles that all have these little arrows on, then I'm shorting it. Euro dollar. Yeah, I mean, we've read about the euro dollar that you should short this. And what do we see? we see it at the moment consolidating. We had a big push to the downside, then it consolidated. So for the last 7 candles or so, 8, 9 candles, I think, we've seen basically sideways movement. One big push down, and then it just retraced, the entire candle retraced. So it's pretty much where it started when markets opened for the Asian session this morning. So at the moment it's going nowhere, but we know the fundamental sentiment is downward pressure. So I mean, maybe wait for a break and then short it. But keep an eye on these. I would rather do on this one, I would rather look for top-down analysis, and let's do that. We haven't done a proper top-down analysis on this pair in a while. So what we'll do, we'll remove this and that, and then we find ourselves a line. So this is the daily. We'll start with the weekly, make it a lot easier for ourselves. So price is right at this level at the moment. We want to see our first resistance or support levels. First one I think is there, touch there, and there, and there. Yeah, that's the first big one. We'll change this color to, what do we make it? Red. Because it's the weekly, I wanted a different color so I can see how significant it is. We'll add another one. So we've got this little doji. I don't know if you see that. Let's zoom in a bit, but we've got this doji there. Obviously a fair value area that it touched there, there, a few times, and then reversed there, there. So that's a good line to have in. And we'll add the next one. This one there, that it's been respecting for a while. It did eventually try and break through, but to the upside it became resistance as well. Let me just shift it down slightly so it touches more points. So now it respected it there, 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 and obviously there. So that's my 3 support levels on the weekly. Now let's look at the, I'll draw in 2. I don't actually have to draw in anything on the upside. I don't have to. We've got this white line and that white line, so I'm not going to draw in any. Just change this to red just to show it's a weekly line, and then we can do the same for this weekly. The white lines are a key level for me in a specific day, so they're not supposed to stay in there for more than a day anyway. Yeah, that's the same line basically. The one's on the close and the other one's at the end of the wick on the next candle. So if you had a thicker line, it would cover both of those. So we'll delete one of them. We'll unselect all. Pick one, delete it. There we go. Okay, so that's the weekly. Let's look at the daily. What do we see on the daily? Not much. Pretty much the same picture we had there. Expected to reach this level there. If you can see that on the daily, that pushed up means there's no, if you put the volume profile on this, you'll see that your one fair value would be somewhere there, close to this red line. That would be fair value. So this whole push means there's a lot of volume traded, but it's not at a specific price. This is the first time we've got a specific price being traded with volume, so the push should come down to there at least. So that's what I expect to see there. I want to shift this up slightly there, just to be accurate. And what do we see on the other ones? I mean, not much. Okay, H4 to the end. What do we see? More of the same. More of the same. And H1. Not much. We don't really see anything on the H1. Okay, well, the good news is when it looks like that, we know what to expect. So you should be able to see that point and that point create some form of a trend. And if you've got a trend, you've got a channel. So I'll go that point and that point. Am I on it? I'm on it. Select that, shift it down the bottom. Oh, it's actually been respecting this one, strangely. So what do we expect to see? An area of high confluence at this point, definitely. So our move would be this, from there to there. That is the expected move. Something like that. It's quite rough, but that's what we expect to see. Just shift it over because it's supposed to be there. And then move this line. There we go. So that's what I expect to see on EURUSD. We've got market sentiment calling it bearish. We've got a trend line being supported and current momentum to the downside. So we'll add watcher and see the downward arrows confirming sell pressure. There we go, sell pressure. And I mean, you could do one of two things. You could just go short now and put your stop loss up there, which is what I'm going to do. Very tight stop loss with this channel, so it's a very nice trade. Or you could wait for it to break maybe this line and, you know, then go short. I'm happy to go for it now. Split the trade. Let me show you what I do. Okay, so one of them goes on the line. So just above, so you'll take spread, you'll take that line, which is 509, and add 19 or 20. So you want to 529 give or take, but that's fine too. So my risk here is 1,380 and potential reward is 3,800. That's more than a 1 to 2 ratio, risk versus reward ratio. So I'm happy with that. We'll just add this level. We'll modify this. We'll make that 30. And this will be 500. Because even numbers are prettier, I think. So we'll do the same on this. 16530 and 15500. There we go. So yeah, that's an easy top-down analysis. We've got market sentiment saying shorted. We've got my watcher indicator saying sell pressure. What more do you need? It's not breaking, it's respecting the line, it's got down momentum. I think this is the short for me today. I'll leave that open and obviously let you know tomorrow what happened. But that's my trade for now. Remember, we've got Christine Lagarde speaking, so that could potentially break this channel. Just bear that in mind. So if you are trading on the euro today, you do need to watch that speech, or at least watch the chart. So if it starts going crazy against your position, close it out. Even before it hits this stop loss, if there's a momentum candle engulfing all of these candles to the upside, nothing stopping you from manually stopping that trade against you, closing it out manually. Because if something that she says pushes it, that could be significant pressure to go all the way to there. And there's no reason to take that hit. Wait for the move to end. You know, she says something that pushes it to there. You know, that's fine. Wait for the move to end and then reevaluate the market, depending on what she says. Obviously, if it goes with you, that's fine. But still keep an eye on it, because for the opposite reason, I split the trade so that if it's a drastic, crazy push that will exceed this channel, which is possible, a big push to the downside is possible, that breaks this channel on the downside, which would be an oversold area. It could go all the way to the next level in one move, depending on what she says. So definitely keep an eye on it. You could potentially move one of your levels, you know, either to the middle of here or to the bottom of here, and keep an eye on it to just manually close it out whenever it starts losing momentum. When it starts shifting up again, close it out and take as much profit as you can. That's the key concept. And stop it out on a momentum to the upside to take as little loss as you can. But definitely need to keep an eye on that speech by Christine Lagarde later today, and determine what effect her speech will have on your position if you do take a position on this pair. Okay, this is ranging sideways. I'm not going to trade this. You could trade it to the side, but the potential break is coming soon, so I'd be cautious. You see there's a gap. When there's a gap, there's something big coming. I would be cautious on this one. This could potentially soar to the upside now or plummet to the downside. So if you are range trading it, just watch it. Be very careful. Kiwi yen. I mean, that's going short, so not much I can say on that. It is respecting this line, but that's sure to break sometime soon. Maybe in the next 2-3 candles we should see that break. Kiwi dollar, same thing. We've got this channel. That 1, 2. Oh no, that's a miss. It needs to touch 2 at least, but then that's not the right point for it. So weird. But yeah, we've got this channel going. So that's sell pressure right now, I think. Even though the dollar is slightly bullish in the long term, it had a retrace, and the retrace respected that level. It's this level that it respected. Go back and see, and you could just draw it in. So yeah, if that it didn't even make it all the way. So I would have expected to see it go all the way up, but you know, there wasn't enough upward momentum to push it all the way, which created this little trend. This isn't really a trend line. It's just, you know, the upside of a channel that I would rather look to move again sometime. I'm not happy with the positioning of the channel, but it is respecting it at the moment, so potentially move this one there. Then we've got 1 and 2. Now what am I doing? I don't want to move that. I wanted to move that. There we go. That's better. Yeah, that makes more sense. 1 and 2, so it should trigger it a third time and then have a big move to the downside. Unless it breaks, then it's a move to the upside. Now we should see if this is a move to the downside, we could potentially see convergence or divergence here. No, it's still fine. I mean, it was pushing up there, pushing down there. It's still fine. it's still fine. Up and up, yeah. Okay, so it should continue the trend then. It's not a reversal yet. I think it'll continue the downtrend there. Dollar CAD, I mean, we had this push to that line that I called on Friday, and obviously, was this Friday? Yeah, it was Friday. Obviously it did that, and now it's going to be in this triangle for a bit. Wait for the breakout of the triangle. We'll draw in the triangle next. Something like that, give or take. So that's what we expect to see next, is a breakout of the triangle. So we can remove this line so it's a little more visible. Wait for the breakout and just follow the momentum on that. Yeah, this is obviously also a triangle. Same thing. There's pressure to the upside. Pressure to the upside. So we could potentially see prices right there. We should see a move to there at least. So support will turn resistance. That's our key level. Definite move to there. Easy prediction there. Should see that. Shouldn't even take long. Yeah, that's what I expect to see there. It's a triangle with upward pressure. Okay. I'm not even going to talk about the dollar yen. I mean, the yen is consolidating across the board. So same thing, just wait for the breakout. Draw in your range resistance and support lines. Draw them in and then just wait for the break. Okay, so what's happening there? Zoom in a bit. I remember I said it should consolidate slightly downward at a slope down to this level again. Yeah, that's not going to change. That's not going to change. So I'll leave that for now. Oh yeah, we have a big move coming. Ladies and gentlemen, if this holds, let me just close this so we have a bigger chart. If this holds, it's pushing up to there for sure. If it breaks, it should go back down to there. No, there. So potentially this one. If this breaks, we should see it reach that level in a very short span of time. Like a move like that. That's what we'll expect to see. It could even be more, but yeah, I mean that would be a big move. If it holds, the opposite is true. You know, that big move to there, that's also a pretty good move. So watch this. If this line breaks, short it as quickly as you can. Watch the break and go short. If it doesn't break, so let's say you'll put in a level there, little buy box, call it a buy box there. If it breaks that, just go long, and then obviously to that level you'll get out at the resistance. trend line there. Now, if it breaks the resistance trend line, the next level would be that one, which is another big move. So we've got a potential big move on our hands today, people. Watch this level. Definitely watch this level. This is on gold. If you didn't see, it's on gold. So we've got an opportunity on gold today. So definitely watch that. There's money to be made here. There's money to be made. Keep an eye on this level for sure. Anyway, that's it for my analysis for today, for the video. I do hope it helps. Good luck and enjoy.